Can you tell me the name of this person?
I will be the last to fall. I won't shed a tear for them to see. I won't have your name to call. 'Cause I will be the last to fall.
From now on, Lloyd's name will be
Love it.
Doll. We're just going to call him Doll.
Not
Everybody
Peaches.
knows what we're talking about. It's just Doll. Where is Doll?
Sugar. He's
Oh,
right
there.
here. Hang on.
Oh,
Let me
there's
scoot this around a little bit.
there's
Trust
Sugar.
me, he's never too far away.
No, he's close by. Look at him. So
He wants me about the dolls.
another development yesterday in the McKinney thing with
Ooh.
Amber Spradlin. The grand jury handed down yet another indictment, making it a count of 8. And this one was for placing a knife in a couch. So, in other words, they're saying that was, or that this particular knife, anyways, wasn't the murder weapon, but it was planted there. I don't really get behind it. Of course, I don't know, Stacey, if you've heard, but
I have-
MK's attorney is looking at contempt of court charges.
I did hear something about that now that you mentioned that part.
Yeah. It's a lot of, this pool keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. As a matter of fact, if you want, I'm actually got a thing coming up tomorrow morning on this on the news. I'll go ahead and read this to you if that's all right.
Yeah.
A grand jury returns superseding indictments on August 14th, which of course was yesterday, in the Amber Spradlin murder case. Now, grand jury added an additional count of tampering with physical evidence based on new information obtained by investigators. The new charge, which applies to MK McKinney, Michael McKinney, and Josh Mullins, is complicity to tamper with physical evidence for planting a knife in the couch where Amber was murdered. This knife was not used in the murder, but was placed in the couch to suggest it was the weapon. MK now has 8 counts of complicity to tamper, along with murder charges and an attorney that could be facing contempt charges. Mike McKinney and Mullins both have 8 counts of complicity to tamper. And you'll hear more about that tomorrow morning if you listen to 95.5. So it's
Mm.
I'm telling you, it just keeps
Oh,
deeper. It keeps getting deeper and deeper. And this is, like I said, I'm the true crime side of this, and I'm the producer. We received Stace, and you know this story better than anybody.
yeah.
And we're going to talk about this after this is done. Let's see, it's what, 7 after 9? About an hour ago, as a matter of fact, almost 1 hour ago, I wrapped this video up. We have been busting hump on this thing, trying to get it ready for tonight. And I actually told Stace earlier today, I don't know if it'll be ready tonight. I felt like Rick McCallum talking about episode 3, because when they finished episode 3, McCallum said that they were literally 3 or 4 days before the release of it and still on it.
Sorry.
That was Revenge of the Sith, episode 3. But I felt like that. I was like, my God, now I know what it feels like. Good Lord. And I'm telling you right now, my ass is dragging like an old tired dog, but it's worth it. It's not what I wanted. But the important thing here is that this story gets out and that there's a meaning behind this video that you're getting ready to watch. So we're going to give you a few more seconds, get you something to drink. It's about 20 minutes in length. It ain't super long. It's the longest one that we've produced so far for the Mountain Mysteries, the Gatherings, etc., and 606 Paranormal. But there's a lot of people that had hands in on this, including Stace, Faith, Kay, Lloyd, and of course myself. But we want you to watch this. We hope you will, and get a point out of it. Now, it will be available on YouTube here in about a week or so. But for our paying Patreon members, all you got to do is message me on Facebook, and I will send you a copy of it in 4K. Now, the best that we can do on this streaming platform is 720p, and that's what it's going to be broadcast in. But I got to say, Faye, there's my girl, Faye.
Yep.
One. Your makeup looks phenomenal. Oh, she's talking to you. I was going to say, nobody ever compliments me on my makeup.
I'm hiding a flare, like my face looks like hamburger meat. So I'm hiding it. She's like, oh, your makeup looks good. So I had to go try to put a little bit of powder on.
You don't have a hamburger face. You're talking about the guy you're married to. He looks like Hamburger Helper. He looks like cheese.
Hamburger helper.
he
looks like the Hamburglar.
What's up there, doll? So yeah, it's so anyways, you guys get settled in. Because like I said, it's about 20 minutes long, and I gotta say, I think it's probably one of the most cinematic ones that we've done yet. I'm getting better with this tool that I've got, but we are going to switch back over, and I've got to learn more with Adobe Premiere Pro, because there's nothing that thing won't do. Hell, the second Terminator movie was edited on Premiere Pro.
Wow.
So yeah, Adobe is awesome, but my God, they're just so freaking complicated. Faith, I love you. She said, hush, you look great. I just adore her. So anyways, guys, after this, and one of the things that we're also going to talk about tonight is first experiences. A lot of people are afraid to come and tell anybody about what they may be going through, because, oh my God, they'll think I'm crazy. They'll think I'm nuts or this or that, or, they'll put me in the psych ward or whatever. You're not going to find that here.
No.
I have experienced things, and I didn't have the first experience myself until I was about 31 or 32. And it changes things. It really does.
Yep.
But let's go ahead and let's get to this short film. It's called The Right. It is based on a true story, and this is in her own words. And Stacy, you lived this nightmare.
I did.
We'll talk about that coming up here in just a few moments. So, ladies and gentlemen, settle in. This is called The Right. There is real evil in this world, and it will use those you trust to lead you to dark places. But there are also angels that guide, watch over, and protect us. This is Catherine's story. She writes, "It really chills me to even talk about it, because that makes me remember. But I want it to be heard. There are angels that walk among us here, ones that are sent to save us. My son Carter had recently turned 10 years old. Oh, he was clever with jokes and so funny. He loved to spend time with me and his dad. We'd play sports about every day. Baseball, basketball. He had lots of energy. He loved family time, and so did I, making memories that I knew one day I'd cherish. Now, he had a best friend at school named Casey, and he invited Carter to come to his house and spend the night so they could play games and watch a movie. After talking to Casey's mom and setting everything up, we decided we would let him go and we would pick him up the next day at 3:30. He called us to check in a few times and said goodnight around 9:30. I remember smiling as I hung up the phone with him, remembering how fun it was to be 10 years old and get to stay over with your best friend, and how great the world was then, I thought. The next day we picked up Carter and came home and ate our usual family dinner on Saturdays, and I noticed Carter was yawning, and, well, he just wasn't acting like his usual self. So he said, "Mom, I'm going to go lay down," and I said, "Sure, honey, I'll do the dishes, and we can watch a movie later." I asked if he had played outside extra long or something, and he said, "Nope." But Casey's older sister and her friend came in from the UK college, and they were calling themselves certified witches. "Witches?" I said. "What do they mean?" He said they cast real spells on people and make mean ghosts attack people. I said, "Well, my gosh, where were their parents at when they said this?" He said, "Oh, she waited until they went to bed before coming down and asking me and Casey to come watch something, quote, super cool. It's not for babies, end quote. And if we weren't scared little babies, then we could see it. So we walked in a room, and they had like 4 of those old-looking Ouija boards all together, making a big area in the floor, and they had jewelry with evil faces on it, and people's hair was laying on it, and what looked like people's fingernails, and a little vase of blood too." He then looked at me and said, "Mom, I couldn't understand the words they were saying, and it sounded really crazy, but they kept saying it over and over and over, and then Mom, I swear the necklace flew off the Ouija board, and blood smeared on it and landed on my leg, and the girls just laughed, and I swiped it off of me, and I told them I was no baby and to shut up. Just shut up." And they kept saying weird sentences over and over. Sentences like I conjured the dark dread, and then something else, and then she told me that I needed to piss off, you little scared baby, and go learn some Latin if I lived. Then they pointed at me to leave. Mom, the room filled with what looked like some kind of black smoke, but it never came out of the room when I opened the door. I said, "Oh my God, Carter. I'm shocked, and honey, I'm so sorry that happened." Well, I didn't know what to do. Did I call Casey's mom, or if this was just something that those girls had pulled off to trick the boys? So I decided to wait until tomorrow. I didn't want to take any chances to ruin the boys' friendship. They'd been getting close. The next day I was downstairs doing laundry and I clearly heard Carter cussing at someone. I heard, "Get the hell out and get the hell off me!" I walked up the steps and looked into his room though and cracked the door open. He was standing in front of his mirror, and in that moment my 10-year-old son's face had begun to morph and change. His chin and forehead were 3 times the size of normal, and his eyes were almost turning solid black. He looked like an old, demented man. He was chanting something. I panicked and ran into the room and grabbed him, and I said, "Carter, are you okay? Answer me." He looked over at me and turned his face towards me and looked me right in the eyes and said, "I am indeed Catherine," in a deep, deep voice that was not my son's. He then changed back, and it was like nothing had ever happened. Carter said, "Hey, Mom, want to play a game?" I said, No, not now, son. I'm a little bit out of sorts." He was fine the rest of the day, seemingly. He went to school the next day. By 10 a.m., the school called for me to come and get him. He had been suspended for fighting 2 boys. I said, "What?" "Our Carter loves us, everyone." The boys had said that he was talking to them in a made-up language or something, and then, when they laughed at it, he had started calling them sows and livestock and began to punch them and grab them in the bathroom. Carter offered no explanation other than they started it, and he acted like he didn't remember doing it. I called Casey's mother and told her the story that was told to me, and then the odd behavior that had followed all this. Now, she assured me not to worry, that she'd have a look at her daughter's room and then have a talk with both girls. She apologized and seemed to think it was all just fun and games. You know, as I think back on this and I wonder now, what if my son was some offering for whatever this thing was that they had conjured up? The whole week he was suspended, he seemed worse and worse. He would say the meanest things to me, and then stare at me. And then 5 minutes later, somehow he'd snap out of it. His eyes would change for a second, it looked like. Now, I told my husband I thought I was going crazy. He assured me that there's a big change in him, and he'd seen things as well, and no, I'm not crazy. I'm a loving and caring mother, and I know what I've experienced. He was getting ready for bed one night, and I heard a growly, gurgling sound from his room. I ran in there and saw him. It sounded like a dog growling at a prowler, but there was no dog. Carter's face was bigger and solid white, and his eyes were dark and very dark underneath. He looked like he was in pain and trying to fight something. I said, "Son, Carter, please, son. You have to fight this thing. You know this. So please, do you need help?" He said, "Yes, Mom. The thing's going to try and kill me. Help me. I can see it now, Mom." I said, "Son, please just fight it. Make it go. We've got to get you out of here and get help." I was picking him up and running to the car. "Son, I know someone." This thing was listening, no doubt. But I was just completely done. I'd worked with a lady for a few years that had always helped families with these types of paranormal things that had been going on. I knew she wouldn't think that I was losing my mind. I put my son in the car and prayed she was still on the evening shift. I got there and I asked to speak with her for just 5 minutes. And of course she said yes, of course. and asked me if I was okay. I was tearing up and trying not to. I was trying to get to her office and close the door. I knew if I could tell her everything. But all I could do was hug her until I found my words. She said, "It's going to be okay. Let me try and help you. Please tell me what's going on." Stacia was as sweet as she was tough. I told her everything that had went on from the start, with the Ouija boards and the spells and blood and chanting to the face-changing part and him fighting this thing off of him and me fearing it's too late. And she stopped and she looked at me. She said, "No, my dear, it's not too late. It's never too late. I will be there, and I will help you and your son. But you've got to promise me that you'll hang in there and be strong for your son." I must have thanked her at least 50 times and tried to calm myself. I got back to our house and sat in the driveway. I remember I looked at my son in the back seat and saw a black shadowy figure right in behind his head, looking back at me, grinning. I got out of the car and got my son out. Stacia got there just moments later. I saw her get out and pray. And then she got some equipment and bags out of her trunk. She told me to sit downstairs. She asked my son if he wanted to take her upstairs to his room, and he said yes. He grabbed her hand immediately. It was like he knew instantly that she was there to help him or something. She turned around and took her beautiful angel and Christ medallion off of her neck, and she put it on Carter and kissed him on top of the head, and she said, "You are blessed, Carter, and I'll protect you." My husband had walked in and caught the last couple of seconds. He was worried that something may hurt her. And I said, "Oh, I think she's got this. But let's pray." And we held hands and prayed. They went on into Carter's bedroom. And she had a look around, and she put out some equipment, and Carter said, "Look, Stacia, he's over there. Oh, now he's over there. He's up on the wall. Now he's on me." And then I heard a hissing laugh and whispers of a deep voice of a man that said, "What will you do, bitch?" I heard Stacia say, "I'll show you just exactly what I'll do." She began talking to it in a calm, steady voice. I can't stand here and tell you. It was almost angelic sounding.
May the archangels hear me. Before me, Raphael. Behind me, Gabriel. On my right hand, Michael. On my left hand, Ariel. For around me, the flames protect us. Ata, Malkuth, Vaga, Vura, Vaga, Dula, Viola. Amen.
Then I heard her say, "You can leave this child alone, for you are nothing, conjured by two most powerless girls that are nothing, and that's all you are, nothing. Go back to hell and hide. No one's afraid of you anymore. Everyone knows." What seemed like 3 hours must have passed us. Then I heard a thump. It was Stacia and my son falling to the floor. I ran up there and went in and What I saw, as I say this to you now, you must know I'm bawling. This thing, what was left of it, was basically evaporating. Teeth like a shark, and then it disappeared, rising and evaporating, and it was gone. I looked over at Stacia, holding my son in her arms. And what I saw, the most beautiful, heavenly glow coming from all over her. It's almost like she had invisible angel wings as my son cradled in her arms, and he looked up at her and wiped a tear off her cheek. And he said, and I repeat, "You are my angel." Stacia said, "Yes, I am, now and always." She hugged him, and she cautiously continued to watch that thing leave or die out or whatever it did. I said to her, "How can I ever thank you?" She looked at me in the eyes and she said, "Kathy, this is what I do love. And I want to share that when I can to help those that need me the most." Well, folks, I can tell our story to you now, to all of you, and tell you what a special and beautiful lady Stacia really is. She will always hold a place in our hearts and in our lives. You see, she's not just Carter's angel. She's ours. I hope this story I've held in my heart will be a warning to not mess with anything dark unless you are fully ready, because it does exist. I swear to you that you don't ever want to see it. Also, let it touch your hearts that angels do exist on this earth. I know, because I've met one, and she saved us. Afterwards, Miss Stacia sent a person of the cloth to come by and bless everything and check on us twice. I offered to pay for his gas and his food, and he said, "Oh, no, thank you. Stacia's already seen to that." She says you all are family. Thank you for hearing our story. Catherine. And that is where Catherine's story ends. This happened around 2006. And if anybody has ever wondered why it is I feel about her the way I do, now you don't have to wonder. See, I've always suspected that she was an angel walking among us. And there's no doubt in my mind that for at least once in my life, I was right all along. Angels are real. And you get to see one every Wednesday. That is why you
Thank
don't
you for
miss.
that. That was wonderful.
I kind of figured it'd be a monumental disaster. But you know, I read some people coming in there saying that they'd got chills. Yeah, me too. When I was there's certain parts of that when I was doing it, I was like, this happened around 2006, and we know how she came to you.
Yeah.
What was your first thought? Was this her first experience?
Yeah.
What was your first thought when she
She
came in?
just
What was going on?
she came in. I knew as distraught as she was, her hair was sticking straight up. I knew something was wrong. I didn't know she'd been in a fight. You know, when you first look at somebody like that, there's, you know, something's going on. And I'm like, hey, what can I do for you? Tell me, you know. And she tried to tell me, but she couldn't get it out. So we sat there for a minute and I just held her, you know, and I said, let's try to talk through this and tell me what I was really, you know, going on. And then she started telling me, and immediately I knew it was going to be something. But when I got there and what I went through for those few hours, it was one of the scariest things that I've ever experienced in my whole life.
You stepped down for a year over it.
I stepped away from any work like that for a year. I had made up my mind I was done. I had a baby at home, you know, 4 or 5 years old. I just,
You know, if you look back in time towards I guess it was the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a spiritualist movement around the time of, I guess that was the Victorian era. And, you know, you had people meeting up and they would do these seances. It was all the rage. They would do it right after they would host what Lloyd would call a garden party. And this would happen. And then it kind of faded away and it became abstract to talk about it. You did not mention this kind of thing in public.
yeah.
You didn't bring it up because then you would get these looks. It's like, oh, you're one of those, or you're a nutter, or whatever it may be.
Right.
But back about the time that all this was happening, around 05, 06, boom. You see it on Fox or USA or whatever it was. Ghost Hunters. Grant Wilson, Jason Hawes. Zach Bagans. You know Zach.
I knew Zach before he ever got famous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Zach's always been Zach. And, you know, here's the thing that we have seen, or at least, and this again, I am not, never have been a paranormal investigator. But from an outsider's perspective looking in, a lot of people got into this because they were looking to get some kind of money, some kind of something, fame or acknowledgement or something. And they had never dealt with anything remotely like this. And here's the kicker. I'm not saying that it was easy, but I'm saying that there are cases out there that are as bad or worse than this. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
You managed to clear this thing out, well, through the power of God. You managed to clear this thing out in what, about 3 or 4 hours?
I believe it was some sort of a human.
Okay.
I don't.
So you're not so sure it was demonic?
I don't. No, I'm not for sure exactly what it was. I know
Okay, that's okay to say that.
what
That's
I
okay.
heard. I know what I smelled. I know what I saw, and I
Tell me,
couldn't.
what did you smell?
To me, it smelled like just rotted carcass. If you've ever passed something by, it's been on the road, and you smell that, and it kind of makes you sick. That's kind of what it reminds you of. And I
Okay.
smelled it as soon as I stepped into the house, and I knew right then and there. I'm like, oh my,
Whatever it is, it's not good.
this is going to be terrible. This is going to be terrible.
Hmm.
And I mean, not knowing what the girls were practicing, not knowing what they're conjuring up, not knowing, you know, I had no idea of any of that.
Well, they said that they were certified witches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether, I don't know, how the hell do you get certified to be a witch? I mean, but again, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. I don't. You know, there's never been a Ouija board inside of where I live. I messed with one time when I was, I don't know, I guess 13 or 14, and it wasn't me necessarily. It was 3 of us. And I can give first names. It was me, Chris, CJ, and Glenn. And it was at an old house on Kentucky Route 201 in Johnson County. Anyways, you know those chains that hang from the bottom of a ceiling fan that you use to either turn on the lights and or adjust fan speed, whatever. CJ or Glenn, one, whoever it was, had made the comment, if you're really here, do something to prove it. And we looked up because we heard that chain, tick, 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 tick against the light fixture thing. And we looked up, and that chain from the bottom, like somebody had picked it up at the very bottom and just took it right up to the fan.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you what happened after that because I was too busy hauling elbows and ass down 201, not looking back. And I have not looked back since, and I count myself extremely grateful that nothing saw fit to attach to me, or that I've got the power and the love of God that goes through me that protects me and other people, stays. But right then, that was enough to prove to me there's more to this than, this is not a game. And why the people that make that thing continue to sell it. And then there's the other question. Well, why the hell do people continue to play it? Yeah, they're going to make it.
There's thousands of different kinds. There's them that are hundreds of years old that they've been doing for.
You've got one in your office that's got some
I
it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
But I've never tried to conjure anything on it. I never performed any kind of magic or spells or anything like that on it.
That would be a hardcore.
Never would.
No.
Never would. I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't tried that kind of stuff because, hey, you dabble in stuff whenever you're interested in all this growing up. And I've been dealing with this since I was a kid, seeing, things like what I saw. And I was interested in it. And I full well wanted to learn everything that I could.
Tell me the look on the child's face when you first saw him, when you first met him.
He honestly, to me, whenever I got out of the car and I saw him standing there, he kind of looked like her. He kind of looked like he'd been in a fight. And I knew they were in for the fight of their life. I mean, I knew it was coming. But that baby was just.
And this happened in Paintsville.
Sure did.
Which is our backyard.
Our hometown. Mm-hmm.
That's where you and I grew up.
Yep.
Is it just me, or is this area? There's things that go on around here that I just.
We're steeped in history, steeped in all kinds of things here.
Before we go any further, first off, thank you for that, and to the individual Kathy that submitted the story, thank you. I hope that I did it some kind of.
Yes, thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, I know that could not have been easy to relive that.
No.
Now you transcribed it, so she told you the story, or she put it in the words that she wanted, because you knew the story. Hell, you lived it. You were there.
I didn't even know half of, her side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Until she sit there and we talked for a couple of hours while I was writing it, and when she was telling me, I was writing it word for word, and I just bawled, and
Let me bring up a point right here too. Before anybody asks, that singing that you did, and you actually did that for me, that is not a chant. It is a protection. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're summoning something.
No,
other than asking for God and the angels, the archangels, to intervene and help you.
That's only actually a small part of it.
Okay. But you did do that.
It's a banishment spell. And it's the archangels.
You start messing around with the archangels, you're in for an ass whooping.
Uh-huh. That's what I believe.
I do too. So you asked on the call of Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some pretty big names. Those are the real, yeah. I mean, this is one of those things that I just, wow. This is why we tell people too, don't go and do an EVP session on your own. And Ryan Buell will tell you that because he remember the episode I Am 6. Yeah. A girl actually became possessed over that, doing that. Don't do stuff like that. If you think that there's something going, and if you cannot, I mean, if it's something that you just cannot physically do without, you need to know that they're okay. You need to know. I get it. I do. But go to somebody that knows what they're doing, whether it's Stacy or somebody else that knows what they're doing. But just make sure that they know what they're doing. And remember, I can sit here and tell you all day long, I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. Don't just take their word for it. Few phone calls, few questions, ask around. You don't want yourself getting in trouble. If somebody comes to me, the first thing I'm doing is say, oh, hell, you need to call Stace. That ain't me. You need to call Stace. Speaking of which, I have got a young lady who, and she's in here, she's in the chat room. She had lost her son. Her name is Linda. And we was wondering if perhaps he may come through tonight. And I get it. Sometimes people get nervous. They get a little, I don't really know if I want to. And if you don't, just go ahead and you can message me personally on my Facebook account and just say, I'd rather not, or if you want to. But I can tell you right now, maybe he would come through this box. Maybe he will not. It's really a question of what they want. And it's also a question of what kind of energy you can provide for them. And the best way to do that, like I've said before, is to just think of them.
True.
Emotion is a powerful, powerful energy. Happy memories, that's good stuff. That draws in the good stuff. Things that made you laugh, things that made you go, well, you get the idea. But it's things like that right there. And while we're doing that, I want to say hi to some of our people in the chat room. No way I can get to you all tonight, but Marcia, Ricky, let's see, Linda, Hattie, Sierra, got all kinds of people in here. Laura, another Linda Lawson, Helen Prater. Of course, there's our buddy Helen. Tina. Of course, Lori had to step off. CJ, Vanita. I hope I get that right. Vanita. Is it Vanita or Venetia? I think it's Vanita. Debbie. I think Debbie accidentally called me the other day and she was shocked when I actually answered. It was on Facebook video. And I said, yeah. And she was like, be shocked. Not everybody can do that. That's true. And there's my Faithy Poo. There's Sharon Grass Baron. Let's see, Ralph and Jenna. I love her to pieces. She's great. Loch Ness Gav, Tracy.
Gav.
Yeah. Jenny. Oh, Kim Underwood Bradley. Oh, the boss is in the house now. And it goes Wanda Hale, Greta. Did I just hear that thing go off?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Crystal Shepherd, Lloyd, of course, Lloyd. James Paul. He's a buddy.
606 squad.
Yep. And all of our friends in here, thank you so much for being here tonight, and thank you for watching it. But the point is, Sandra Goforth, a big point of this video that we wanted to make is, what was it Diamond Dave used to say? Don't go ninjaing nobody that needs ninjaing or don't need ninja. Don't go dicking around with something you don't understand.
Yeah.
You're going to find yourself in this shape. And here's the thing. This wasn't not Catherine's fault. It was not her son's fault. He had gone to spend the night with a friend from school. And apparently his friend had a sister who brought another girl in, and they were dabbling in something that maybe they ought not have been dabbling in. Okay. My extent of dabbling ends with adding a different ingredient in the Mexican dish I'm making, or with bacon and eggs or something. That's about as far as it goes for me, because I got enough shit to deal with. I don't want to deal with that too. Okay. That's why every other day Stacy is like throwing down a blessing on me, I think, or maybe having a Catholic priest do so.
Every day.
Every day. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I am very grateful for that, I would dare say. So with those things being said, Linda, I hope that maybe we can help you, or you can contact me, like I said.
Yes. And
we can possibly do, it's up to Stace, but we can possibly do a one-on-one session with her and see, because I get what it's like to lose somebody you love.
Oh yeah.
I've heard from my mom. I've heard from my brother Trev. I've heard from my brother Ollie. I've been very fortunate. They've came through. And I don't see any reason why your loved one can't for you. And I'm talking to anybody out here that's listening right now. Have those good memories. That connection. Did that thing just say sup?
I don't know. I didn't hear it. I was listening to you.
It sounded remotely like Lloyd. Okay, that sounded remotely like a Care Bear.
Debbie said she's shocked. She pocket dialed you. You didn't pocket dial me, daggone it.
She did. I just answered the phone and I told her, I said, oh, hell, I thought
She
had
done
something
left
for
me out.
I thought she had like a story to tell me, or, that she wanted to talk to me about something. And of course, look, I'd be lying to you if I told you I'm always accessible. I'm not. Obviously, I'm pretty covered up. But that doesn't mean I won't try to get back to you at some point. It may not even be that day. But you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Stace. Stace, if it wasn't for Stace, yeah, I did. I texted Candace one day and I meant to text Stace.
Oh boy.
Good thing I wasn't going off on one of my little tangents.
What we were having a conversation about earlier.
Oh, dear Lord. I don't even want to go there.
Listen, our
Even the boxes
conversation
were going, damn, that's hot.
people would think our conversation are crazy here, and it's because we're still in that where we know each other so well, and we grew up
40-some
together.
years.
We're still have that kid mentality with each other, guys. So we're always
We do. We
saying,
still laugh at fart jokes and we make fun of
I
Lloyd.
mean, it
I
is
mean,
what it
seriously,
is.
y'all think we're kidding?
No, we're
We ain't
hell-
kidding. We make fun of Lloyd, and Lloyd makes fun of me, and that's okay. He knows better than to make fun of Stace, because she'll put her size 9 straight. She'll polish that son bitch up real nice and pretty. I always put it straight up his Rudy Poo candy ass, and it'll be over with. So, but
Me violent.
he loves me enough not to do that. But
I'm not violent, am I?
Huh?
No.
I'm waiting on his head to stick out there and show bruises on the side of his face. There it is. But we do that. And it says, I can't speak for you. I don't know what you get in your messages, in your box, in your inbox.
In my box?
And
I can tell you
watch.
what I got in there.
Meanwhile,
My mind just completely.
Little Joe is back at the ranch with Hoss.
Meanwhile, back in Arkansas. So it's no, I've been getting messages from people asking, are we going to do a meet and greet?
Yeah.
Kind of had that thought maybe sometime around, but I want it to mean something. I would really love it if we could do something to raise food stores, let's say,
Sure.
or a local, be it Prestonsburg, Pikeville, Paintsville, Salyersville, wherever, let's local, a local food shelter, and help families with Christmas dinner or something like that. Because let me tell you something, the
Sure,
want
yeah.
is real. The need is real. There's people out here right now wondering where the hell their next meal is going to come from. I get that. And if there's something that we can do to,
I can't stand somebody going hungry. Lord, please call me if y'all are hungry or something like that. Lord have mercy. I can't stand it.
no, I can't deal with that. No.
Can't stand
There's people out there that I really don't care much for, but I won't see them go hungry,
Oh, Lord, no.
let alone the people I love. And I can tell you right now, you guys are family. You guys are like, God help you. But
Yes.
what about doing the festivals in town? Candace asks.
We've been thinking about setting up for Apple Day 606 and making us a little stand or something.
Uh-huh.
Been thinking about it.
Well, I don't know if the gatherings or the Mountain Mysteries will, but if we'll do that, I'll buy us a damn tent that's
Let's
got
do
the
it.
logos on there and put out
So we
tables.
can see everybody too. Everybody can come out and see us.
Well, yeah, and
I mean, if we don't, we can just
we could even do a live broadcast thing from there. Find somebody to sponsor it, and by sponsor it, I mean give us an internet connection, and that's all over the place. I mean,
try
hell,
to needs a pizza. I'll fix you a pizza, sugar.
look, if Bill Macaronian has his way, Paintsville will be covered in Wi-Fi. So it's, I mean, he's making a lot of good things for Paintsville, I think. So,
There's my Kashonda. I love that name. That's so pretty.
it is. It's unique. It's different.
It is. That's Ronnie's baby.
But yeah, I mean, I was thinking about maybe doing something one night at the Rec Center and
Jenny Wiley Festival too.
sometime between,
Sure. I'm
yeah,
down.
something like that, and maybe doing something at the Rec Center with maybe the bringing out the dolls.
Yep. Oh, they're ready. They are so ready to go. They are just sitting there like.
Maybe doing a
Boy,
Q&A if you guys are
pack me to
interested in
the
that,
car.
which is a question and answer thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's whatever you guys would want to do. So it's but if we could raise some money for something like that, and that's not a bad idea either. To actually have 606 do a live investigation.
We did a investigation at Stafford House whenever Mary was still alive, or Mary Martha, I think is her name, and she took us through the Stafford's house, the Stafford House there in town in Paintsville.
Yeah.
She took us through each room and she told me stories, and I have.
There's several places in Paintsville that are, I just get the feeling every time I go by them that's kind of creepy. The one is right out there by the Dodge dealer, that house that's right there on the corner. That thing is spooked beyond belief.
In there too. We made it in the paper for that one.
Mm-hmm. Did you find anything there?
Well, the second night we got some singing, and he told me he thought possibly it was from like a maid that they'd had there many years.
I think either Bob or Tom owned that now, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still, yeah, he had just gotten it actually.
Okay.
He hadn't had it probably for. Well, didn't have all the stuff done to it yet that he's got done to it now. But
as well,
they started it.
You remodel something that really that ramps it up. Yeah. You start remodeling and changing things around. That's going to ramp it up every time.
I love that whole area.
And then, like you said, the Stafford's house, Mayo Mansion.
Yep.
I just get maybe it's just because it's so big, but I just get a feeling every time I go by there. But there's other places. There's other places where the buildings no longer stand. One of the places where what used to be my old Kentucky home, which was like some kind of an apartment thing or something, but it's not even standing there anymore. But every time I drive by there, I get.
Did they tear that down?
As far as I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I love our little town. I want it to shine like it did when we were kids, and little stores in every little place down there, and
yeah, man, that was awesome.
Businesses thriving, and
that was awesome. Places like GC Murphy's and Ed Surplus.
Oh my gosh!
Back in the day, that's when things were just better. Yeah. Bob Hutchinson's house. Yep. Sharon said I have a ghost. You may have any. I don't know.
Yeah, we got a few things caught on there, but I mean nothing bad or anything like that. It was pretty calm.
There's all kinds of possibilities for this. So, and perhaps even at the meet and greet, we could do one of these live SBS, spirit box.
Yeah. I bring my old trusty laptop. I've got everything downloaded on there, ready to go.
Yep. The banks and all that.
I've got my banks already loaded, so we're ready to go whenever we need to travel.
Cecil said, yeah, it torn down about a month or so ago.
Oh, gosh.
I thought it was gone, but I couldn't exactly remember when and etc. But, there's things, I drive through Paintsville from time to time, and I just can't get over how much has changed.
I know. Oh, me too, Jessica. I grew up over in Indian Burial Ground too. I know how that is. And it's still crazy in that area that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And I still get calls from there.
Don't want nothing to do with it.
In the whole area, I probably had 5 phone calls.
She said ARH bought it. Anita did. ARH bought it. Okay. Well, ARH is going around buying up a lot of stuff. So it's, I mean, it's close by here too. So, I don't think I've gotten any messages from. Got several likes on Facebook. People that liked the show so far in video, but yeah, I've not gotten any messages from Linda or anybody. So, I mean, we can run it for a few minutes and see. But obviously, now next week we're going to spend about the hour and a half, whatever it is, probably doing just the SBS.
Sure.
because honestly, after this, I need a bit of a break from the video thing. I mean, just
Yeah.
just a week or so. But I do
Yeah,
encourage you.
It's hard work.
Oh my God! You don't know. You remember when you heard the crow cawing? Rawr, rawr. I had to put the sound effects behind the crow to make it caw.
That,
And I had to
listen,
match
it gave
up
me
with the
chills.
opening.
That whole thing sit there and gave me chills. I mean, it's so real, guys. It was so. I cannot
Well, like
even.
I said, it broadcasts in 720p. The format that it's in, that we're going to put it up on YouTube here in about a week or so. And if you are a paying Patreon member, just shoot me a message on Facebook or shoot me a message on your Patreon thing, and I'll send it to you. There's no charge. What I want is for the story to get out there. I want for the warning to get out there. I'm not about making money off the back of somebody suffering. That bullshit does not work for me. That dog ain't going to hunt. But if this can serve as a warning for somebody to say, hey, maybe I should not mess with that Ouija board, or maybe, I really don't want to do like Lloyd and wear nipple clamps with eagle feathers and dance naked in 3 circles while chanting something to the moon. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Oh.
And howl at the end, just for good measure. Even the spirit box agrees. So,
Did you hear what it said?
no. What did it say, baby?
Good. Sticking in little thing.
Oh, I don't even want to.
Yeah.
I don't even want to. Yeah.
I knew it. I knew you all was going to start
That's
tonight.
probably because it heard the conversation we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
God.
I knew you did miss a good one.
Linda did just message me and she said, yes, she would like to know. So I'll tell you what, Linda, if that's okay with you, I'll get up with you and we will go ahead and run an SBS. I don't know for what, maybe 15 minutes, something
Sure.
like that. And I will get up with you, Linda, and see when a good time for you and Stacy would be. And we can do this over the phone. I guess, can't you, Stace? Or maybe
what I like to do is Facebook Messenger.
Okay, so yeah, you guys can do that. You
Absolutely.
can add her, Linda, at 606 Paranormal at Facebook,
Or just enter my name.
or under Stacia Underwood Gullet. It's spelled
Yeah.
Stacia. Okay, and everybody calls her Stacy. Well, hell, I call her Stacy, but it's actually pronounced Stacia. So, at least that's what I understood. Anyways, from the time I was like 7 or 8, so something like that. That's been a minute ago, ain't it, honey?
About 10 years ago.
It's just been yesterday.
Got that 10th reunion coming up.
Oh Lord, I've never been to a high school reunion.
I didn't go either, but we can go. We need to work on our VHS and DVD collections. That's what we need to do.
Cassettes. Yep.
Yeah, we need to add to our collection.
Motley Crue rocks. Yeah. Poison rules. Yeah, it's even Kashanda's like, oh my God. Yeah. Trust me, you ought to run with this crew. It's unique. Boxes up.
Let's keep it clean tonight, please. Thank you.
Yeah, don't tell us about the John Holmes Film Festival going on at the
We
college.
don't want to know about it. We already lived through that.
Cubby. I love you. He's great.
William. Somebody said something for William. And then actually while we were talking, it said Nathan. And then
Yes.
Reed.
Yes, Nathan something.
Something Reed. All right. I've got the spirit boxes turned up. If anybody wants to talk, you can have the floor now. Just try to keep it clean, please.
I can't help it, Candace. I mean, when it just happens sometimes. She said no spitting water tonight.
She said, well, I'm now spitting.
Water I've got tonight. It's yeah. So
no, I have not investigated the Samuel May House. No, I moved on to private cases. That's the majority of what I do. I do elderly, and I do work with the children. That's always first and foremost for me. So, and that's what I continue to do today. I still do private cases. But that's not to say that I won't go and do that. That's fun. But you also have to look at it, Michael. You also have to look at it like when you go in these different places, things like to follow me home. Things love to attach onto me and follow me home. So I'm always super, super cautious and careful about things before I go in. I get a good feeling for.
Well, you're like a lot to a mom.
It's the truth.
So.
Top of hour.
And then, of course, there's Lloyd.
Yeah. Let's see what Jessica says. Brittany, let mom know you're okay. I know. Up here's the chat. Like here's my screen, like right here, right? Then up here's the chat. See it right there? You just have to kind of.
Samuel mute bed.
Does it help when I put them on the screen like that?
Samuel something May.
Samuel May.
Thank you, Tina. You guys are cut off. Oh, thank you, Mary.
I don't know if it just said what I think it said, but
yeah, yep, it did.
Oh, you dirty little girl, you!
You're being so naughty.
I'm waiting on the Austin Powers thing to come through.
Oh, mercy!
Mm-hmm.
Can we have some?
Yeah, baby.
If anybody wants to come through for anybody that's dick. If anybody wants to come through for anybody in our chat room, I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure they would too. It said it, Chris. Let's see. Yeah, Shannon. Yeah, Chad, if you can come through for us.
Hell no. Oh, Lloyd.
Sound like it said Helen something. Oh boy. But I'm not.
I thought it said
Be nice to Cass.
It's not overweight.
Be nice to Cassandra. Did it say that?
Like that.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
I love her. Does anybody else want to come through for me? I appreciate you coming through.
Then we're gone. Scared, hurry.
Something Dad wore, and it sounded like a gun. And then always hoping to hear from my mama.
Hurts and volume.
If you could come through and talk to Britta, she would love to hear from you. Charlie's here.
Sherry's asking for Marcus.
Marcus, can you come through for Sherry? Uncle Guy, can you come through for Jason? He loves you.
Need different honor.
Well, we asked for the English accent. There it was.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Linda. Linda says, I miss you, Corey.
That's her son.
Could you come through and talk to us?
Josephine. Linda would like to hear from you. Linda Elkins.
Corey, could you come through for me?
Corey was young when he passed. He was young.
Pretty.
He was
Like,
a young man.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
These spirit boxes have a bunch of syllables, letters. If you work with them,
Monster.
you can play music even. If you can learn to sound out the words, we can hear you.
Yeah, we've heard music, guitars specifically coming through them before. And there's nothing like that in there. It's just, it's crazy. I don't know how it works or how they do it, but they do it.
Ronnie, the grandkids miss you, and we miss you too.
Yeah.
About breaks.
Just laying hands.
Did it say that or laying hens?
I don't know.
Something with laying hens. Linda says she misses you, Mom.
I said,
You know, if you remember last week, we talked about laying hands with the Bigfoot thing.
Yes.
There was a guy close to where your mom lived that had laying hens that were killed by something.
Yeah. My mom's whole family, they lived like not too far from where all that happened. And let
Praying.
me tell you what, they all saw stuff too. Everybody in that little area saw like this stuff going on.
Oh, there's all kinds
crazy.
of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Sherry thinks that it might have been saying praying hands. Could have been.
Is that what that said? Okay.
Could have been.
That's
Praying
why I did.
hands. Yeah. It's,
I want to hear from you all if you hear.
I said,
Yeah, we definitely need to know.
Yeah, definitely.
mm-hmm. That's true.
Usually I can pick this stuff up pretty quick, but sometimes I'm listening to something else and
Well, I'm guilty of that too.
then I hear stuff in my head sometimes too. So I'm like, oh. See, Josephine. Yeah. Let's see. Aunt Judy, if you could come through for
it's pretty
Candace.
summer, so
Something summer.
Lord, he's gonna you.
That's the Lord.
Sounded like it did.
Great.
My mom could have far.
For Julia.
We would love to hear from you if you can use your own voice. How fantastic would that be?
It'd be incredible.
Could somebody come through for anybody that's in our chat room? So, did anybody recognize that for them? 'Cause I've never heard that voice before. Let's see what this one said. Okay, Charlie says, "Hey Jerry, Charlie wants to speak to you if you want to come through. Love to hear from you." I've got the boxes on if you want to come through. Did you have hens?
He said I'm not.
Did you have hens when you were here?
Cause he is.
Cuz he is.
Mm.
Somebody call out for a cousin, maybe.
Things with Kurt. How?
Kurt or Kirk.
All you got to do is think of it.
Say they were.
He said,
That's a hell of
he said, I said there was 4. And he said, that's a hell of something. It's like somebody shut him up.
Who is it, Sherry?
Let's see. Oh my God, I don't know who that is. Gotcha.
So when I had son. Later.
Brittany, Makisha, Dawn, if you can come through for Jessica, baby, she's here.
That's a very pretty name, Makisha.
It's beautiful.
It's very unique. Yeah.
Can you come through for her? We'll be listening for you.
Still.
Mm. They were brothers that passed very young.
All right, Pebble sold eggs walking up the road on the left fork of Oak Creek. Gotcha. Mama Beulah, can you come through? Kashonda would love to hear from you.
Oh, Russell Range.
Are you up there with Ronnie?
He's best.
He's the best.
Wow.
Candace says, Aunt Judy, are you ready to go to Atlanta to get some flowers? Are you ready to go get some flowers? Candace is ready to go. I agree. I wish we could have gotten to know him better, but he was a crackerjack, let me tell you.
He was a good man.
You're
That-
not at Amric.
That just, the first one said something. He rocked an afro. He rocked an afro. Who did?
Definitely
We definitely want to know this because Chris and I were just talking about it.
God.
We were. Didn't Lloyd have one when he was in high school?
No, he had a mullet.
Oh, okay.
Business in the front, party in the back. Lord, I'm glad I didn't know him then.
Sounds like a house of ill repute.
Ronnie, Peyton misses you. If you can hear my voice.
Taylor, I hope you're doing okay, huh?
Oh no, Kayla. I hope you get better, sweetheart. Sending you
Yeah,
lots
those
of
are
love.
nothing. Those are nothing to laugh at. They're not.
Whatever.
Anything like that is serious.
Absolutely. Does anybody else want to come through for anybody in our chat room? You need to probably go get Katie. Tinker.
Sounds like somebody, that was a nickname.
It does.
Mhm.
Were you trying to reach somebody? Cheryl? Go ahead. What do you have River's number? He's on her phone.
Okay.
And text and tell him.
City.
Who is it?
Wow. That has
City
some power.
something. Yep. Candace says, Aunt Judy, your son is on here. Come through. Come through for me, Aunt Judy. When we do a meet and greet, guys, bring a pig. Maybe
Bring a what?
special person that you're missing.
Oh, a pick.
And so that I can get on that vibe with you.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Can you do that too? Can you?
Don't bring a doll.
Bring a doll. Yeah, Lloyd would love that. He's got a doll fetish.
No, he doesn't.
His favorite dolls are still,
They're over there.
they're just sitting right there.
They're there. Over there. I'm over here. They're there. I'm way over here.
Madonna, where have you been, child? She says, "Sorry, I'm late." It's all right, sissy.
It happens.
Things
Yeah.
it's okay.
You'll have to rewatch. You missed a good story though. A special story.
Off. Help.
Help,
You feel. Fermentation.
Fred. Something.
Using.
It's a riot.
I'll tell you right now, Tina, what he's going to say to that. If you're asking Lloyd that question,
He exploded it.
can we give you a dog?
Can't we what?
Give you a
Give you
doll.
dog.
No.
Anybody else want to come through?
Several.
I thought I heard it all. 18. I know everybody heard that.
Fail.
Ah, are you back home? She's been in Florida.
Mm.
Until hybrid itis.
A lot of sharks swimming around down there.
Mm-hmm.
Look for acre US.
Lloyd's got to depart. He's on his way over to pick up Caden.
Okay.
Ah.
Be careful, buddy.
All right.
Mary Ray says, "House cat, can you come through?" Come through. You've got the floor. Come through and talk to us.
It's uncharacteristically quiet tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rita Ivana.
Read us something.
So I was going to say that kind of sounded like a foreign language. Yeah.
Can I help you with? Of course, they.
Maybe gators.
Here we go.
Let you ask.
It sounded like he just burped in there.
And before that, it said something about you're a dumbass. Lloyd, that was for you. That was your parting message. You know, the one that's been saying, Lloyd,
Mm-hmm.
walk. Does anybody else want to come through before we close up the box?
Tour blocks.
Linda says, "Tell me something funny, Corey. Tell us a good one."
Or air.
You're in the air,
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Prada.
Britta.
Britta.
Again.
Let's see. Ricky says Larry Van Hoos. Uncle Larry, can you come through for Ricky?
Hey, I'll
Intercruit.
cover here. Decent.
Well, we've had some on here tonight talking about porn and everything else, so it's
Trinell.
It's your Kurt cousin.
You're Kurt's cousin. I said Kurt earlier, and that's my cousin and everything.
I'm not related to
Finally
anybody.
coming through. Well,
But,
Kurt Cobain, you can come through for me.
The Speaks.
Does this speak, or I hope this speaks? Yeah, I know him too, Ricky. We used to work at the fire department and the police department all the time and do haunted houses and stuff with them all.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Seems like the older I get, the more I gotta leave behind.
She said, so he asked you. What did he ask? We're all listening. You got the floor. We're getting ready to close up shop. So if you got anything you want to say, now's the time to do it.
Ask Chen Uso.
That was 10, he said. I love you for it,
Honor to Rick Malini.
Madonna. Does anybody want to come through for Madonna?
Ask James.
Ask James.
Something like that is what I heard.
What do you want me to ask him? You see what Madonna said? I say some are quiet because
No,
we're in the
we're in
pokey.
Pokey.
Yeah. I just
Yeah, I
gotta
saw
read
that.
that message.
I saw that. That's when I said, they've been on there. They've talked about things that, yeah, well, it's.
Does anybody know anybody named Nathan? I've got,
That came through earlier before we went
I
on.
mean, it was plain. I mean, it's just,
Oh, it clears a bell. Yeah.
yep. Oh, Aunt Donna's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Aunt Donna. Can you come through for Madonna?
It's the topic sad.
The topic's sad.
And Jessica Atkins, my son.
Not Trace. Be careful. Let's see. If you can come through for Jessica, she would love to hear from you.
Show asses.
Tina's got a really good point here. It does seem a little low, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just been
I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but
coming
myself,
through, then stop coming through.
I can tell you why mine's ran low because I'm running on empty.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one.
I did.
All right, we're going to close up. If anybody wants to come through, come on through. Anybody that's in our chat room would love to hear from all that we've called out tonight. And we thank you so much for everything. Thank you for coming through and trusting us and joining our little circle of light.
At walks.
That's a walk. Somebody said somebody had to walk on the farm. James is my fiance's name. Oh, really? Gotcha. Ronnie, you want to come through for me before we say goodnight?
Hey, Charlie said he had a nephew named Nathan.
Well, Charlie, he may have been asking for you because he came on while the story was on. He came through a couple of times.
And before we went on the air tonight, I heard that.
Uh-huh.
When you and I were chatting back and forth, yeah. We were clapping our
Your
guns.
dad's getting old and sounded like it said greasy.
Is
That sounded almost Italian or some kind of a
Yeah,
language.
it did.
Hmm.
All right, I'm going to close up, and you can continue to give me messages.
Euro.
Yule.
I thought it said euro, but I had no idea what that
Euro, maybe.
it was. Powerful. That was stout. Yeah.
Yeah.
New bag.
New bag. A new bag. Somebody get a new bag. I wish I did.
I didn't.
All right. I'm going to shut this down. Thank you for coming through for everybody, and we do love you.
Okay, so coming up here in a couple of weeks, I'd say that we are going to be doing the Patreon thing, and that'll be starting at least a couple of times a month. Kim Hamilton said, "Hey, Chris, Stace, Lloyd, we'll replay what I've missed." I'm like, "No, okay, as long as you're okay. That's what's big for me. As long as you're okay."
Yes, honey.
But yeah, replay it because the story I think it's got some chilling elements to it. I think. The story itself is, and I had a unique thought, because I'm so big on this wanting live action stuff. I was sitting here tonight and a thought hit me out of the blue. Because like I said, people think I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to God. And I do that a lot. I talk to him a lot. Not as much as I should, but I talk to him quite often. But I said, it's live action. And God, I felt like he said to me, Chris, it's the story that matters. There's a million ways you can tell it. Live action is one, yeah. You can do it the way you did it, which was a combination of live action and a combination of pictures that were a combination of AI and a combination. But it's the story that matters. What story are you telling us? Well, the story I'm telling is for people not to mess around with this dark stuff, and that Satan is everywhere, but so is God. So are you. You're everywhere too. And you will come to anybody, any place, anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter. All they've got to do is call out to you. You've promised us that. Then I got, the whole chill thing, which was kind of like, yeah, that's right. And he will. But I would prefer to call on him to thank him for the blessings he's given me. I'm done asking him pretty much for stuff. I mean, I ask him for health, for Stace, and for Faith, and for my daughter and Gracie, a little girl that's adopted me. I love her to pieces. And so many people. I ask him for that. But in terms of things, I got things. I got everything I need. It's time I give something back. And that's the point of this. So
Yes.
So after that, Stace, I'm not so big. Yes, the live action, I do want to do some of that. I do want to do it.
Great.
I think that it would be fun. It would be interesting.
Definitely.
And the thing about it is they don't have to remember lines because I'll be telling the story. And I've got it written because of you. I've got it written. You're welcome, Charles. He said, great program. Thanks. But I've got it written because the people that transcribe it for me and send it to me. And then after that, all I got to do is sit down and go, do the whole prayer. Lord, guide me through this because I'm too stupid to get this done alone. We both know it. Amen. And here we go. Bam. It just starts happening.
Yeah.
Join our Patreon, if you will. Let me put that up there. There we go. This is not a plead or a beg for money, but this stuff does cost. And it's because of you guys right now that we're able to do that. So let's keep the stories coming. And it can be a $3 tier. That's fine. 5, 10, whatever you want. But the paid members will have access to what goes on before the show. It's really what Stace and I did tonight. And I'm telling you, it ain't for kids. No, we're not conducting porn and Lloyd's not running around naked or anything. But we talk about things. We talk about what's coming up, what we're going to do. We talk about how this was done, how that was done, how we could be better, and things like that. So please consider joining us. Click the link up there if you want to, and just check it out and just go from there. But either way it goes, thank you always for being a part of the show, for listening, for being in the chat, and especially for telling people about it. Without you guys, it won't happen. Why would it?
Thank you for listening to my story tonight, guys.
That was
I'm glad we could share that with you all.
That was an incredible story. It was an incredible story. It was, and thank you for what you did for that child and that child's family. I told you.
I'll always be
If
there.
ever wonders why I love her like I do? Now you know. I knew from the time I was a kid there's something different about her. There's something special about her. She's an angel, and she is. God puts people like her on this earth for a reason. She is not a dime a dozen. She is a rose in a garden of weeds.
Thank you.
And Lloyd and I are the weeds. So, but we're okay with it. Whatever. Okay. And Linda, thank you so much. Madonna,
Yes.
Ralph, and Jenna. We love you guys. You guys just have a great night. And we will see you back here Wednesday. And keep looking on the Facebook pages and stuff like that, because we will announce the first episode of the Patreon thing for the gatherings, Patreon members, and that'll be coming up pretty soon. Stace, do I even need to say it? I love you.
I love you more.
No, you don't. I love you more. You guys have a wonderful night, and have a
You guys love y'all.
good night, everyone. Stay mysterious.